My name is Amanda Maxwell, and I work with Room in the Inn at All Souls. Room in the Inn is part of Homeward Bound. The goal of Homeward Bound is to help people acquire permanent housing and stay in permanent housing. And Room in the Inn is specifically for women. What we do at All Souls is participate with other organizations to house the women for a week at a time. We provide them 3 meals a day and snacks, a place to stay, a place to keep their things, and transportation to and from the day center that also works to support people without permanent housing. We don't just provide a space for the women, we sit with them, we have meals, we break bread. We talk with them. We have volunteers that come and offer professional chair massages or haircuts. I often will bring in nail polish, and so anyone who's interested can just sit around and talk and paint their nails a different color. And this is a meaningful part of my experience at All Souls, because I don't view my world as just the immediate people that I interact with day to day in my job or in my family. I think that we're all connected, and Room in the Inn is a way that I can offer some of my abundance. We've all had times in our life where we stumbled or we needed to ask for help, and some of those times have been more catastrophic than others. And if you have a challenging experience in life, have difficulties, and you don't have a support network, if you don't have financial means, then you don't have that safety network to help you get through it. And so at All Souls, we help to create a little bit more of that support for individuals who are part of our community. Even if they aren't the ones who are coming in the church door, we still see them as an inclusive part of the word us. One of the most important things for me and motivates me to continue to give my time and to support this stewardship, this work that we do at All Souls, is because of the success rate. Because Homeward Bound and Room in the Inn has approximately 90% success rate keeping people in permanent housing. So once someone has gone through their program and has worked with the Homeward Bound organization, where they've gotten education, they've gotten social support, they've gotten support filling out paperwork, they've had counseling, they've been involved in drug treatment if that's what was needed. They help someone get the permanent housing, help them make sure that they are able to keep it for a year. They continue to have a support network of volunteers through that year, people that are just committed to be a friend. And if the individual still needs a little extra support, still need that network to be there for them, Homeward Bound is committed to being there. And so it worked. I've had times in my life where I needed a tremendous amount of help, where I was lucky that in a moment one thing happened as opposed to another. And for those people who haven't been as fortunate and who haven't had the the economic stability or the kind of family and friend network to help pull me back up. There are people who are in situations that don't have that and will continue to get pulled down. And to be able to be a part of helping someone back up has been incredibly meaningful to me. I think we all also have maybe things about us that we don't want to talk about or we don't want to share, we don't want others to know. And I think that because we can hide it, that we're different. And sometimes others, again, if they don't have that support network, it's easy when you have means to separate yourself from others and to see yourself as different. But when you sit down and talk with someone, you realize we're all humans. We all have the same hopes and fears and joys and dreams, that we're not that different. And it is really meaningful to me to be able to connect with individuals, but also create a place where others, for example, someone who is a member at All Souls, but could sign up for a dinner shift, and to create a way for that person to get involved with someone who doesn't have permanent housing, who may look really different from them, that may seem intimidating if you passed them on the street, but now you're with a team of other volunteers making a dinner, bringing it, sitting down and eating it, and you realize, wow, we're just a bigger community. I remember being a child, and we've all heard the Good Samaritan story, and then we hear like there's Good Samaritan laws, like this is in our lexicon, our lingo, if you will, of common culture. But what is that story? And it always struck me that there was this person that stopped and helped someone out when others wouldn't, because others were intimidated, they were busy, they thought, not my job. But to realize that and there's multiple levels. So the Samaritan stopped and actually took care of somebody who was different and needed help, and when it was dirty and was scary. So that's a nice story. But also, if you look at the way in our culture today, we think the Good Samaritan, that is a beautiful thing, and everyone wants to be this Good Samaritan. But go back in history and look at that actual story. The Samaritans were a group of people that were not really accepted. They were not the rabbis would not have, who passed that injured person, would not have associated with the Samaritans. So the Samaritans themselves were looked down upon. And it was really just a cultural construct of them being the other. And you see that this group of people who were considered accepted, and this community of churchgoers, and they were connected with God, and they thought themselves somewhat superior, possibly. They separated themselves from the Samaritan, yet the Samaritan had all these beautiful qualities that this group was looking to God to try to promote. And the Samaritan had these beautiful qualities to offer to this other individual who also has those beautiful qualities, but maybe they weren't being seen in that moment. And I think that is a great example of why we need to consider our place in the world and how we see ourselves and what we believe about the world and what we believe about our culture and about those that we see as others, to say, wait, we are all humans. We all basically, tick in the same way. And if we stop and instead of add labels to one person or another and see them as a human, that we realize that we are all creatures of God and all have qualities of God. And so that story is even more meaningful to me because we also have the often we have a bad habit of judging others, and it reminds me that taking a moment to reflect or to consider or to think about things in a different way can often help us reconnect and be more inclusive, to be more together.